All right, welcome to the June 17th, 2026 meeting of the Parks Advisory Committee. We will go ahead and start off with roll call.
Committee Member Stevens.
I'm sorry, Erica Woodrow is online, just so he can be included in roll call, please.
I think Frank is probably excused because he's on vacation, and I'm pretty sure he told Jonah about it.
And I think he told us last month he would not be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
He's in London somewhere.
He's across the pond.
It might be Denmark.
He's in Copenhagen, right?
There he is. Okay. Committee Member Reynolds.
Here.
Committee Member Jones. Committee Member Winters.
Here.
Cantrell.
Here.
I saw you online. Committee Member Hill.
Here.
Committee Member Terrell.
Here.
Online. Committee Member Long.
Here.
Committee Member Rizzo.
Here.
And Committee Member Knox.
He's our alternate.
Alternate? Okay, thank you.
All right, that done, we'll move on to item number 2, review and approve the April 15th, 2026 meeting minutes. Does anybody see anything we need to call out on there? All right, does somebody want to make a motion to approve the minutes?
This is Shelley. I move that we accept the April 15th, 2026 meeting minutes as written.
I'll second Victoria.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the meeting minutes been approved. We'll move on to item number 3, communication from staff.
Hi everyone, I'm Erica Palmer, Community Development Director. I am filling in for Jonah's big shoes this evening. Thanks for having me. A couple communications I have for you tonight or this evening. We have our grand kind of community celebration of the Sharon Nesbitt Heritage Park this Saturday, June 20th from 10 to 1 p.m. And we are starting off at Mayor's Square right at 10 o'clock with kind of a community strolling parade with noisemakers and maybe a llama or two into the park itself. And we just have like a couple of people speaking at the overlook, and then we have lots of games and food for everyone. And it's really a family-friendly affair. So if you have kids that like animals and like to play games, bring them on out on Saturday morning. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of free little toys too for the kids to play with. Should be a good time.
Question, are you guys gonna have outhouses out at the?
Yes, we will have one porta potty out there, and then if somebody needs the ADA restroom facility, we have a gator to take people up to the visitor center at all times.
So are you encouraging people to park at the outlet mall and walk in,
Both.
or?
So we've advertised it both. You can park downtown, or you can park on 57th Way behind the outlet mall.
And is there any shuttle running at all, or no?
We don't have a shuttle running. If you park behind the outlet mall on 257th Way, you will have to, walk maybe, I don't know, a little bit more, but not too much more.
There's the cut through that's right, well, I guess it's not too much of a cut through, because you have to walk along the railroad tracks, which is not ideal.
No.
I was thinking if you cut through where the Sasquatch, then you'd have to walk all the way behind town, so. Yeah. All right.
We'll have snow cones in the afternoon, I think starting at noon, and then we'll have churros in the morning with, Starbucks coffee and tea, so. Yeah. Another communication I have for you this evening has to do with Beaver Creek Bridge. We went out to bid for that a couple of weeks ago. We have accepted a bid, and we're in the middle of negotiating with their team to get notice to proceed that signed off with them to start this project. And, we hope we can get it signed off here fairly quickly because there's some in-water work that we would like to do this summer within the time period that we have. And I'm crossing my fingers. It'll happen. I think it will. Have to stay positive. Those are I think my 2 park big communications for this group this evening. But if you have any questions, I'm here.
Does anybody have any questions for Erica online? In the room? All right, we'll move on. Thank you, Erica. Item number 4 is public to be heard. Comments limited to 5 minutes per speaker. Do we have anybody online that's not in our committee? Nope. Anybody in the room that wants to public comment? All right, we're gonna move on. Item number 5, Urban Forestry Management Plan, final notes. Take it away, Erica.
Thank you for having me. Give me 1 second here. I'm gonna pull up this presentation for you. There it goes. All right, so tonight I'm bringing back the urban forest master plan project that we have been working on for the past 7 to 8 months. I know this project has been brought to this committee throughout the process, but I'm here to kind of wrap it all up and then talk about next steps. Most recently, I presented this information to our Community Advisory Committee in early June, and I also took it to the Planning Commission just last week because they wanted an update as well. So when we talk about our urban forest here in Troutdale, we are speaking to our public trees, and our public trees are those trees in the right-of-way, trees in our parks, and trees in other natural areas that the city owns, such as the Beaver Creek Greenway and other riparian areas. So before I get started here, I do want to give a shout out and a thank you to the Oregon Department of Land Conservation and Development, DLCD. They provided us with this grant to fund this project throughout this past year. And this project came about through this committee. So in the Parks Master Plan that was adopted in 2023, there were several goals dealing with urban forestry. And one of the actions was the city should produce an urban forest management plan that directs staff and the city on goals and actions that we can take to preserve and enhance our natural green space areas and how we preserve trees. Dudek, I know Rose was here one evening and she met with all of you. She is part of the team at Dudek working on this project. And then we've also been coordinating with Multnomah County Transportation Department because they have several roads here in Troutdale that are under their jurisdiction. And when we talk about street trees or trees in the median, we want to make sure that we're all on the same page with their transportation department. And we've also have reached out to Friends of Trees, which is a local organization that helps residents and cities do tree projects throughout the region. And they have been very, very helpful. And you might have been to a Friends of Trees project in Troutdale before. I don't know, but they come out here once or twice a year and they help plant trees throughout different neighborhoods in Troutdale. So tonight I'm going to go over the planning process, what we did for community engagement, are the existing conditions report, the urban forestry master plan, the street planting guide, and the street tree manual. And then I'll talk a little bit about the code audit as well. So tonight I did make everybody hard copies of the management plan, the street tree manual, the street tree planting guide, which is the street tree list. And then also in that packet is a report about our community engagement activities, our survey results, and our existing conditions report that has a lot of data about our street trees here in Troutdale.
Do you have any extra copies of those?
I don't, but I will.
You want to come closer? Oh, you guys want to share?
We can share.
Okay. It also got sent to us, but it is nice to have the paper copy, yeah.
Paper.
I can, if you would like a hard copy, I can print off a copy and you can come pick it up, or I can put it in the mail. Okay, we'll put it in the mail. I'll have them do that. All right, so our planning process, we did an existing conditions tree inventory that looked at the different types of tree species, tree ages, and a canopy analysis. Then we started putting together our management plan document. And that's what you have this evening. It's up on the website for public review. And then we put together a street planting guide and a street tree manual. And then we started working on a municipal code audit, which is in our municipal code when we talk about street trees and how folks can apply for a street tree removal permit and planting permit. It's all in Title 13 in our municipal code, and we have a public draft of that also online. However, I want to caveat this. With that draft that's online is going to be updated next week, and I'm going to send it back out to all of the different committees that have seen it. I've really have cleaned it up a lot, and it's in track changes, and it's really hard for people to process, I guess, when it's in track changes. It can be really kind of like difficult to understand. So I'm going to put up a clean copy and our current copy, and people can go back and forth. That may be a little bit easier. We did a lot of public engagement on this project. We were at First Friday, Movies in the Park. We have been to every single city committee talking about this project. We've had articles about this project in the Champion. We did stakeholder interviews. And then of course we have our project webpage online. So with that community engagement, like I said, last August and September, we were out in the community. We were at First Friday doing a survey, and also at Movies in the Park in September. We had, I want to say somewhere between like 130 and 160 responses to our questions that we posed to folks. And we really learned that people here in Troutdale, our residents, they value trees. They understand that trees are important, but they do have concerns about safety. What do we do when there's falling branches or trees? What do we do when trees cause damage to the sidewalk? That came up quite a bit. A lot of folks understand the benefits that trees provide, shade, habitat, beauty, clean air. And we talked about, barriers to planting. Like, if you don't have a street tree, why are you not replanting with a street tree? So I think people really talked about, the damage over time to sidewalks. But we also, when that was brought up, we talked about how people could mitigate that by putting in root barriers and planting the right tree for the right space, making sure that they look at our updated tree inventory to see what tree they should be planting in their planter strip if they have a 3-foot sidewalk or a 5-foot sidewalk or a 7-foot sidewalk. So our existing conditions report, it's up on, I forget what exhibit it is in the report, but when we talk about existing conditions, it's really just a snapshot in time. So this provides us with some baseline data that we can move forward with in the future to look back upon. And the inventory, we have almost about 4,000 street trees here in Troutdale. Those trees, we looked at species, the condition, the how tall they are. And the top 10 street trees that make up our inventory were maples, pears, plums, dogwood, poplar. Those were the primary species of trees that we saw. This is really good news, 93% of the inventory trees are in fair or in good condition, which is great. The city's tree canopy covers approximately 24.7% of the city. And the lowest canopy coverage was in the industrial zone areas. So that's the areas north of I-84 where the airport is and the levee. And there's areas, there are areas in that area that are just constrained. Like we can't plant a tree on the levee. We can't plant trees too close to the airport because of runway takeoff. And then in the medium density residential area, had the lowest canopy cover out of all the residential areas, and the high density and the low density residential zones had the most canopy coverage. So in the future, when we think about planting trees and where those trees should be planted, we could be looking at priority areas in our medium density residential areas since they did have the lowest canopy coverage. So some takeaways from this conditions report. We should be looking at increasing our species diversity. We know that the emerald ash borer is here in the region, and we want to mitigate for that pest and that ash borer. Many cities throughout the region have taken ash trees out of their street tree inventory because of this pest that's coming in and killing ash trees. So really the more different types of species diversity we have is better overall, creating different tree diversity. It's better for the environment. We are really emphasizing again putting the right tree in the right place. So looking at all the different characteristics of tree species and where those tree species should be planted, how they should be planted, and even further mitigation activities that property owners can do, such as putting in root barriers to help mitigate the risk of sidewalk lift over time. Right now we have a great canopy coverage here in Troutdale. Like I said, it was a little bit, it was 24.7%. The goal for canopy coverage, is anywhere between 25 to 30% for the city. So there is some extra planting we can do over time. And we want to keep track of that planting over time too, because that helps us go back to figure out, are we meeting and are we achieving our goal? So the Urban Forest Management Plan document in and of itself, we have a great vision in that document. Troutdale's urban forest is envisioned as a healthy, diverse, and resilient system of trees that support environmental quality, public safety, and community well-being. And we recognize their aesthetic value and also their role for providing all of the different ecosystem services that they provide. Stormwater quality, shade, and supporting wildlife habitat. And the last time we were here, I know that we had brought up the fact that we wanted to say a little bit more about stormwater in this plan, and we actually added some stormwater code criteria into our municipal code as well. So we have 5 plan principles in this document. We really want to maintain and enhance our urban forest over time. And we want to provide training, education, and outreach for tree care and maintenance to the entire community. Okay, and then we want to promote a diverse and resilient urban forest. And we should be collecting data and monitoring this data over time to see how we are performing. And then we should be really thinking about how we integrate trees into our overall planning processes here in Troutdale. In our urban planning, our infrastructure development, and how trees can help us adapt with future climate strategies. So findings and recommendations. So as I talked about, we kind of have a low diversity of tree species. We want to, balance that out over time. And how we can balance that out is we can use our new updated inventory list of street trees and making sure that people are planting a good variety that are also compatible in places where they want to plant those trees. And we should be preparing for heat, drought, and pests and kind of reassess where we're at every 3 to 5 years. The plan talks about increased capacities needed, internally at the staff level. Jonah, he is a certified arborist, and we really want to make sure that other staff know about street tree care. So when people come in with questions, or if they call us having questions about wanting a street tree permit, all of us have the same baseline of knowledge, and all of us are giving the same information out to folks. So we're consistent. And, just making sure that if there's a training available, sometimes, I know Clackamas Community College once a year, they have a big urban forest conference. Maybe we send a staff member there to gain additional knowledge to bring back. And just making sure that cross-training, like I said, is happening in-house at staff level. And then the plan talks about funding. We are not, and I want to emphasize, in the plan document, it has several different ways the city can go about increasing funds for the forestry. We are not even there yet at this point, talking to the community or talking to council about additional funds. We do have a couple line items actually in the city's budget that deals with street tree maintenance and street tree planting, but we're not looking for extra tax or assessment dollars from the community. However, those items in the plan that talk about how the city could, possibly come up with different programs, that's talked about in the plan, because it's something we can go back to if we ever need to in the future. It just gives us here's a menu item list of things that the city could consider in the future. So I don't want anybody thinking we're, taxing anyone for extra trees. The street tree guide, that's also part of the packet that I handed out this evening. And this is the community education resource. So this talks about the Emerald Ash Borer. It talks about our local tree regulations and how you can go on, how you can submit for a street tree removal permit and what the planting guidelines are and how you should be caring and watering for your tree. I got some excellent feedback from the CAC. They wanted some more information in that document about what should I be looking for if I have an unhealthy tree? What are the characteristics of an unhealthy tree or a sick tree? So I'm relaying that information back to our consultants so we can add that information in before this goes to council. So here's the table of contents. Here's some of the pages in the document. So, you know, we really talk about the spacing guidelines for trees, spacing from foundations, overhead, utility lines, spaces from the sidewalk median and light poles and whatnot. We talk about nursery stock and how you can select a good tree to plant and what that should look like. How you can root connect when you get a tree. How many here have planted a tree before? Planted a street tree before? Yeah. So you know when you get a street tree, the roots they come into a ball.
Yeah, I did it with Friends of Trees, so
Yeah.
I don't know much about it, but they educated
They
me
are
along the way.
They're great. So we try to provide that information in here as well. So we're gonna add information about what unhealthy trees, what characteristics you should be looking for in that document. I think that I received one additional comment, and I can't remember off the top of my head what it was. And so Title 13 in our municipal code is our tree chapter, and this chapter talks about how if you remove a street tree within your planting strip, you need to come in and get an approved street tree removal permit. The permit is free. We're not thinking about, you know, adding a cost to the permit at this time or anything. But this code needed some work. And like I said, I'm gonna send out a new version of the code next week that really should be easier for folks to read. We've tried to make it get like more clear, more comprehensive. We added some professional standards that weren't in that aren't in our current code. We wanted to improve the enforcement a bit as well. Just overall, kind of just giving it a refresh. It hadn't been looked at for a very long time, and we wanted to make some changes. And one of the changes that we're looking at and had involved Multnomah County Transportation Department with was how do we maintain and manage for those trees along their jurisdictional roadways that are difficult for homeowners to do tree care for because they're along a busy road. The homeowner shouldn't be going out there and knocking down limbs as speeding cars drive by. So how can we make this process a little bit easier for those people who live in homes, you know, along certain areas for the city or the county to do that one. So all of this information is up online. I'm going to be updating it though next week with an updated revised code of Title 13. We plan to take the management plan document, the street tree inventory, and the street tree manual all to council on July 14th to be adopted by resolution. And then the municipal code update, we are taking that to council in August or September because that has to be adopted by ordinance because we're changing code and that takes 2 public hearings. And council, they go on their 5-week summer vacation after July 14th. And I didn't want to break up those 2 readings and have one in July and one in late August or September because things get lost. Yeah, and just to have it fresh in everybody's mind and having it 2 meetings back to back is always helpful. With that, I take any questions that you may have, suggestions that you may have, and if you have any recommended suggestions or edits, I would love to get those back by as soon as possible. I would say probably the first week of July.
This is Sherry. I have a few questions. It probably isn't making corrections or anything, it's more just for my own information. So, of the current trees that you guys, or that was considered in fair or good condition, of the street trees, if I'm understanding?
Yep.
What percentage of those would you say are trees that are not good actually to have as a street tree?
Good question. I don't know if that is answered
Okay.
in our baseline data.
Okay.
But I will look into that tomorrow and see what I can find.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just assuming that, like, maples aren't a good tree to have in the boulevard strip, even though you said there was a large percentage of them that are. And I'd say boulevard strip, street trees, whatever you call them. Okay, I'm wondering too, so if someone calls and says, I want to be able to take my tree down, it's throwing the sidewalk up. The city says, come down and fill out paperwork?
And so we have a street tree permit. I believe you can also get it online.
Okay.
And it's free, and you fill it out, and then Jonah goes out and he takes a look at the tree. And then, we like people to replant if they can. But if there is like a utility line in the way or some sort of other constraint, there are certain situations where a person just can't replant a tree.
Okay. So the idea was then that you'd be talking to them about replanting. That's the hope for it.
That's the hope. Yep.
Okay, then I think what I wonder if somebody calls and says, hey, can somebody guide me on what would be the best tree for somebody at the city is gonna say, yes, we can help you.
Yep, exactly. And we might, and we're gonna need some additional information from them, like what's the width of your planting strip? Even if it's just like an estimate, that helps us. And then we can ask them, like, do you want more shade, less shade? Do you want a fast growing tree? A tree that, doesn't grow so fast? And we can, and looking through that inventory of tree species that we have, we can provide them with some options.
Okay, then I wonder if in this study that was done, or taking in all these trees into consideration, I think what I wonder is has there been a consideration, and I might have asked this at something before, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself. Is there something that takes into consideration the width of the tree? And I know, I'm just gonna give my own road as an example. It tends to be that people park on the opposite side of the street. So the street trees on that side could grow wider, and the school bus would never be affected by them because they never run up close. But in my years, when the tree was there, and I must confess, it's been gone for a long, long time, but the school bus would come running right up against the edge of it, and that would be the first complaint, is that your tree's not pruned up high enough. And so I'm just wondering, all of those things have been taken into consideration?
Yep. So in our current municipal code, we talk about, street trees should be lumped up to about 7.5 feet. So, a lot for garbage trucks, school buses.
7.5,
I think
It's 14
Is
on
it
the
14?
higher,
Is it
yeah.
14?
street side
Sorry.
and then 7.5
7.5 on the
sidewalk side, yeah.
That's right, on this, yeah, thank you. See, you guys know the code, this is great. And we talk about spacing standards for canopy coverage, because some trees, the canopy grows out instead of vertical. And so when you have a canopy that grows out, the spacing of the trees can be further.
Well, that's in the case of what I had, the tree was narrow, but it just like to fan. It's not going up so tall, but it just likes to fan, and that's what would be run into, you know, by whatever's coming and fanning out wide. I mean,
Yep.
anyway, so, okay, I just want to make sure that was taken into consideration. Okay, the other thing I wondered is, we are saying still though that street trees that are in somebody's boulevard strip, they're still gonna be maintained by the
Homeowner,
okay.
correct.
Okay, and then this is just a side note question, and Shelley probably has the answer to this, but the park across the street from Shelley's house, there were at least 2, maybe 3 street trees right there in that like boulevard strip. But they're no longer there, but I think there's been 1 put in the park.
So what they did, so the trees on the street were tearing up the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And they had to be removed. The one that they planted in the park, they had planted a tree right next to my fence. And Tatiana was complaining about how the maintaining around it and so Jonah and I talked and they just removed it and moved it to across the street because it was as good a place as any to put it. And it actually survived the move. We were really impressed. It looks great. I don't think it was a plan to replant that green space. It just happened to be a good space for it that Tatiana could.
Okay, so I think my question is, even the city is removing because of what's happening to the sidewalks, but not replacing, or is the plan to replace? I know you probably don't have the answer to that.
I think Jonah was planning, I think they were planning to replace those eventually. I
Okay,
could be wrong, but I
Okay, yeah.
think
Yeah.
Jonah had talked about that.
Yeah, the city should be, if we're removing trees, we should be replacing those trees somewhere. And if we can't place them, you know, in the right of way where they used to be in the median strip, maybe we plant them on site, you know, in the park.
yeah, that's what I was
That's-
thinking. They
yeah.
could just be popped back in like maybe 10 feet off the sidewalk or something, and something could be there. But it did remove some shade.
It did, and they were beautiful trees. We were very sorry to see them go, but we sure understand because
Yeah.
the sidewalk was pretty rough. They did replace the sidewalk too.
And we should be maintaining that data over time.
Okay. All right, that's it for me.
Tristan?
This is Tristan. I just have a question about the in lieu fund.
Yep,
Is that making it into the new Title 13? And
it is.
do we have is the fee based on a tree or like the size of the tree or the value that the tree had to the urban canopy? And also if there's a discrepancy between the homeowner and the city about how important the tree is because it says like if it's not feasible to be replaced on the applicant's site, like who's determining the feasibility and
Yeah, so it would be the city and the homeowner kind of working together, and looking at what is feasible on site. Maybe they can't plant a tree, you know, in their setback area of their property, and they can't plant a tree, you know, in the median. It's just not working. So we work with property owners. I definitely have worked with property owners on that issue before, because I have worked a lot with street tree code throughout my career. And your other question about the fee in lieu cost. Now, this is, you speak to an arborist or somebody who's fairly knowledgeable in all the services that trees provide, such as, you know, clean air, clean water, shade, which is, you know, preserving energy over time. They will say that a street tree has a pretty significant value. It could be in the range of $1,600 to, a couple thousands of dollars. And the bigger the tree is, the more value that it has as well,
That
the
was my
longer that it's
question. So
been
it's not like
been
a
established.
fee, it's based on the tree that's being removed.
Well, so right now, we're gonna be, the fee in lieu that we have in the draft code is set at the same rate as a person who's installing a new tree in a subdivision, which is $200. And, staff, we talked about, well, should it be higher, because, trees do provide all of these services, but we do know that the city, we have just raised some fees. We just went through a fee update, and we didn't really want to surprise anyone with a huge dollar amount. So to keep it fair and consistent with the new trees that we're planting in subdivisions, we kept this. We're proposing that the fee in lieu fee is that same rate, which is $200.
It
could be changed in the
costs more than
future.
$200. I mean, Frank was talking about
Yeah,
that last
I
time he was
think
here,
it
that
should
it
be
would,
higher.
that should be higher for new construction that's going in. It should be probably double that to plant a tree. But that's not, it hasn't been proposed that that's changed, is going to change.
I don't think we changed it in our last fee update, but we're looking at fees now every year. So come next January, we'll be looking at fees again.
So to create like a hypothetical, so if a tree owner wants to, or if a property owner who has a street tree of like high value to the urban forest wants it removed, and they just pay $200 and they have a free permit to get it removed.
Let me just understand that. That means they pay $200 and somebody's gonna come out and remove it for them?
Yeah, they would have to pay
No.
for it, right?
So you're still paying money to remove a tree?
Correct.
So the idea that you apply for a permit and it's just gonna be for free, you still are, if you're not gonna plant something new, you're still gonna pay, which is gonna cause people to remove trees without asking.
That's just a code violation, right?
That's-
So anyone
yeah.
can report them. My concern is if you've just got $200 laying around and you want to remove your tree, you could, in theory, just,
I mean, hypothetically, like you could, the city, we would take that fee in lieu money, put it into our street fund and buy trees to plant somewhere else to make up for that canopy coverage.
This is Shelley, we're talking about street trees here, we're not talking about trees in a yard, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
I do have
Absolutely correct.
a question about the definition of street trees too. So if you have a tree, what about property owners that don't have sidewalks and they have a tree is there like a certain, spacing or offset from the public right of way that would that be considered a street tree, or would that just be considered a property owner tree?
Typically here typically they're not considered a street tree, but we always kind of like to go back to the original proposal of the subdivision, to see if there was a street tree plan submitted, and we'll take a look whether or not they were an approved street tree at the time the subdivision was built, or if they were just trees planted, in yards. So there is a little bit of research that we do, staff does, when people come in and is this a street tree or not, because I don't have a sidewalk.
Thanks for answering those questions.
Does anybody else have any questions? Anybody online have questions? No. My question was about the in lieu of fee as well, which I think you pretty much answered. This is Tiffany. When somebody calls and they say they want to remove a tree, are we making sure they get one of these? Like, how are these going to be distributed and available to the public?
So once council, accepts this package, we'll have those manuals up online. We'll have those manuals at City Hall, at Community Development, at the Parks Department. We will we'll probably put up some social media posts letting people know that they can link to that on our webpage, or if they would like a hard copy to please come in City Hall and grab one.
Right, well, thank you so much for sharing with us about that. And a reminder that if we see anything, changes or anything, need to be sent to you as soon as possible and by the first week of July for sure, correct?
Correct. Yep. And the plan document itself, there are like a couple, like right now, I can tell you that where it says like insert name of Title 13, because that name was changing as we were drafting our code. So that'll get updated. That's nothing to worry about.
Excellent, all right. The next thing on our agenda, item number 6, is to discuss trails interconnectivity. We talked about that a lot at our last meeting. Since Jonah is not here, I propose that we just push that to the next meeting. If that's okay with everybody?
Also, Frank has strong feelings
Yeah.
on that topic as well.
So I'm gonna insert a agenda item right here. I know that this is June and appointments are coming to an end. That includes the TCAB appointment, which was Woodrow for our committee. And so we need to pick a new person to be appointed to TCAB from Parks Advisory Committee. I think we have enough here to vote for it tonight. Does anybody want to nominate, or is anybody interested in being the TCAB representative for Parks Advisory?
Woodrow's still on this committee, isn't he?
He is resigning. He hasn't told us yet. Did you want to share, Woodrow, why you're leaving us so abruptly?
I'm Woodrow, and I'm moving from Troutdale to Astoria. So I got one of the trailers up here right now, and I'll be bringing the 5th wheel up hopefully in the next couple weeks. So, yeah. Sorry, I've enjoyed it. You guys are awesome. But oh look, there's a cloud. So
So Woodrow can't be our TCAB.
nope. I will not be TCAbbing it, but I can tell you that it's a lot of fun. You learn a lot of cool things. I think Erica comes to a lot of those meetings. You all know Erica. She spoke earlier, right? Is she still in the room? She's still in the room, right?
Yes, thanks.
Nice, nice. Yeah. And then also, yeah, no, it's a great opportunity. You do a lot of listening, and so I think we have a couple new people, and you have an alternate. This would be great to throw them into. Ask them to serve. So
Well, technically, we're supposed to vote for it now because it would start in July. And irregardless of whether, I think irregardless of whether he was staying or not, we're still supposed to vote every June because it's only a year appointment.
correct.
So I'm looking it up right now. How often do they meet, Woodrow? Do you know?
Monthly, but they do cancel them every now and again. So
Let's see, Erica could tell us, Victoria could tell us, I might be able to say something, Jim might be able to say something as we all sit on them.
Are you on it too? All right, well, that's 2, and Victoria's on it. So it's Shelley, Tristan, me, you guys in here. What's your name? I'm sorry, we were. Which one? Jeremy? Jeremy. I guess we can't vote for Jeremy yet. So, are you on any other committees or commissions right now?
why can't you vote for Jeremy?
Because he's not official yet until the 1st of July, Woodrow.
We can backdate. We can backdate it.
And if Paul Wilcox was on, he would tell you so.
I don't know where Paul is tonight.
Are you on that committee from a different?
Yes, I will read to you right now what it says. It says, the Town Center Advisory Board. The Town Center Advisory Board was formed to support and foster the comprehensive city's town center plan, which was initially adopted in 1998 and updated in 2020. The Town Center Plan is the primary guiding document for Troutdale's Town Center District, which is comprised of downtown Troutdale and surrounding areas. The plan was designed to help plan for the next 20 years of future physical, social, and economic growth in the historic heart of Troutdale. They meet on the third Thursday of the month. Meetings are here, and the staff contact is Marlene Boxler. And these two, your guys are both on it, and so is Victoria.
But I don't see why,
Why we need a representative if we have three already?
Kind of.
right, like one of you could report back to like
It's required, it has to be a non-committee member,
a non-committee member.
or it needs to be a non-town center committee member that represents.
So I represent a different committee, she represents a different committee.
So
And you represent the whole committee.
Jim's been appointed. Which committee are you a representative from?
Public safety.
Public Safety, and you're from CAC.
Do they have the same person representing two committees?
I guess that's a question for
About it in the,
the bylaws.
I'm gonna say this, and maybe Victoria could back it up, or Jim could. I think the heart of it, I know that when I began being on it, there has been so much work up to a certain point that, like, if you think you're gonna roll in and upset the apple cart, it's probably not a good idea. Like, I might not be saying that quite right, but it's like, there have been people on it for so long with the heart of what citizens had wanted and what they were pushing forward, that it's sort of this, like, if you're willing to look back at all of this stuff, I think, and get yourself kind of caught up as to what it was, it's not, I don't know, I know I can't even ask Erica to say yay or nay on it, but there has been something that was put forward and they're in the works of possibly negotiating something. Whether that's gonna happen or not is a whole nother story, because that's now been in the works for a while.
Yeah. I think this is Woodrow, former Troutdale resident. I think even the history of that goes back to someone from Troutdale. This is over a decade ago, threatening eminent domain against the outlet mall owner. And so they're definitely moving on since that phase a long, long time ago. So I think that, consistency is a key part of the TCAB. And again, it's not upsetting the apple cart. There is a path that has been charted, and we're just moving along it. So
It's a cool committee, though.
it's very interesting.
My issue is that I'm already on two, so I'm already committed to 2 meetings a month, and that's as much as I can do with a family of 5, 3 kids at home. How many committees are you on, Tristan? Are you interested in this at all?
I'm interested in it, but Thursdays, I'm at work for 12 hours every other Thursday, so there's a significant chance that would line up poorly pretty regularly for me. I think take up a space for somebody who could actually attend meetings.
How about you, Shelley?
Shelley, I know that you have a lot going on as well.
I do.
Knowing that, I wonder if we could just put somebody name right now and go if you can, and if not, we'll get an update from.
this is Woodrow, former Troutdale resident. I nominate Jonah.
Jonah. Did you just say Jonah? He's not here, Woodrow, so I don't.
That's exactly why I nominated him.
So, the way that I'm reading the municipal code right now, when it talks about, establishing who's on, the town center board, it just says one member shall be a member of the Parks Advisory Committee appointed annually by the Parks Advisory Committee and shall serve a 12-month term. That could be anyone. If you're already serving from a different committee, to me, that's fine. Because it says one
You for
member
this
of
one?
each.
Did your other committee reappoint you? So could we technically just appoint you and then you're already there?
Yeah, it's fine with me, but if that works, okay.
My reading of this sounds like it does, and I will get confirmation with the city attorney, but I'm reading it that way.
Let's do this. If the city attorney says oh yeah, that works just fine, and Sherry or Victoria want to play that role, great. If not, I'll do it.
Okay, so
Does
can
that work?
Can somebody?
Then we'd have to formally say, I nominate
I know,
Shelley.
let me ask, as a chairperson, am I allowed to make a nomination?
I
I
don't
think so.
I don't know if she is or not.
See, I
don't know
didn't
if
think
you-
I was. So I'm open to somebody nominating.
Shelley.
Yeah, you entertain motions.
I second.
Did you say Shelley? Okay. All in favor?
I
Do a roll call vote for this.
Well, if there was more than one nomination, I would say probably a roll call vote, but there's only one nomination on the floor, so.
All in favor?
I
Who made the motion?
Victoria
Oh, yeah, thank you.
and Sherry seconded it. So Shelley is our TCAP representative for 2026, 2027. Thank you so much for stepping up. We appreciate you. And then we're gonna move on to the next thing, now that we've figured that out. Thank you for your patience. Committee concerns and initiatives, future agenda items, closing comments. We'll start online with Robbie, if you're still there. I'm not on the Zoom.
Yes. Yeah, hey everyone. So I hate to add on to it, but this is also my last meeting on the Parks Committee. So um, life has gotten really out of hand lately, and I've just found myself being less and less available on Wednesdays. So I thought that this is the perfect time, with the new people coming on and this time of year to step away. So I have really, really loved being on it. I feel like it has been, what, 4 years, 5 years, something like that. It's been an insane amount of time. And I feel like I honestly will be back in the future. This isn't something that I'm like piecing out and leaving forever. I'm still going to be watching the meetings online and everything like that. But I've just, and you probably noticed it, just found myself being less and less able to be a contributor. And if I can't, sit in that seat and actually contribute to the conversations and speak, I want other people to. So you will definitely see me around. I see like half of you on my walks every day. So you keep looking out for me. I'm not Woodrow. I'm not moving anywhere. But good to know where you're going, Woodrow, because I don't know about anybody else, but I run into Woodrow like every week at Costco.
Yep, come on in. Get your, and we got hot dogs up in Astoria too. Robbie, you can come up here and grab one.
We gotta go visit him at Costco. We'll make a field trip.
You do it. Woo!
But yeah, it was a pleasure serving with all of you. Like I said, I will definitely probably be back in the future. So no future agenda items or initiatives or concerns from me. I know that this Parks Advisory Committee is in really, really capable hands. So thank you all. I really appreciate all of you. And I wish I could say that to Jonah. Jonah, what the heck? If he's watching on the recording, know that I'm upset that I don't get to say goodbye to him. So I'll see him around too. I have his phone number. I'll just leave him a ton of voicemails.
Nice.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Woodrow, have you
Yes.
said your goodbyes, or did you have anything you wanted
Oh,
to say?
yeah. All right. So for officially, all joking aside, there's a couple things that I really think that, I don't know if it's the committee or if it's parks or what, but I've had a couple parents over the last few months, come to me and ask me for assistance, and we've briefly spoken about both these two things, and I just want to make sure that we put a placeholder in, make sure their voices are getting heard. One is the sand volleyball. So there are 9 different programs in the state of Oregon that give out full ride scholarships for students, athletes that are playing sand volleyball, beach volleyball. And the closest sand volleyball court is in North Portland. So we have parents in Troutdale and Gresham and Corbett who like, hey, why can't somebody help us find a sand volleyball? And Glen Auto would be the perfect place to put 1 or 2 of these, and it would be a huge draw. It would be very little infrastructure cost, and it would support our children in trying to, figure out a way to pay for college. So I'm just gonna make sure Jonah, when you get back from Comic-Con or whatever con you're at right now, please, do something with that. And then the other item is is baseball practice fields. Same situation, different families. Uh, I heard Corbett had some unnaturally large number of middle school baseball teams, and they have places for them to play with the lights and the bleachers. But they're with that number of teams, they're running out of places to practice, right? So again, is I think what we were looking to do was how can we get our fingers on that pulse so that we know, what to look for in terms of field availability to accommodate, a high number of baseball teams, especially at that younger age. Because again, if we can get the kids of that age bracket into healthy habits, you know, doing outdoor activities, then it's more likely that they become, more focused and attentive on their studies instead of, running around and, you know, messing around with car fumes and perfumes. So that type of stuff. So yeah, sand volleyball courts and baseball practice fields. And
Thank
please come visit me. So I know Jim will come visit me, maybe. But everybody else, come on up. I'll make sure we'll show you all the sites. So
Thank you for that input, and your time that you've served on all the committees and this committee too. You will be missed. Well wishes and good luck to you. We will move on. Shelley, do you have anything?
Um, Robbie, Woodrow, Jim, it has been a pleasure serving with you. You will all three be missed. I know Jim hasn't had a chance to say his goodbyes yet, but I'm gonna say my opportunity to say goodbye to him as well, and I'm sure we'll serve on other committees together. But thank you for your service.
Victoria?
Pretty much just what Shelley said. Thank you, Robbie, Woodrow, Jim. It has been a pleasure to work with you. We'll miss you.
Tristan?
Yeah, I'm gonna miss the commentary from both Woodrow and Robbie. Lots of good ideas. I feel like you guys are idea factories. It's really cool to listen to them. Good luck in Astoria there, and we look forward to seeing you again, Robbie, hopefully in the future. Only concern I had was, most of my neighbors know I'm on this committee, and I don't hear a whole lot from them. But when the champion came out a little bit about the off-leash dogs and the statement that dogs are only allowed in, I think, Columbia or no, Sunrise. Man, my neighbors were like, "What's up with this?" The discrepancy between the actual posted rules on the website and in the champion, and I'm sure the city heard about that. I told them to talk to the city about it too. It's good that people are reading the champion. I know I do every time it comes out. But it was amazing how passionate people are about the dog access, and I know that was a big factor in the master plan, and it definitely, in my little corner where Glen Auto is our park, it kind of opened up some wounds about the on and off again dog access there, and I told them to go to the meeting and talk about it, but I don't see them. But what I was hearing a lot of is it's frustrating that now every park does allow leash dogs, but Glen Auto, even just the upper aspect of it, still does not. And I know there's probably a huge history around that, but I was surprised to see that my whole street continues to have a lot of frustration about that, because that's the park that we can walk to, and people have kids and people have dogs, and they have to make a choice between which one is going to get their fulfillment for the day after work. So I just wanted to chime that in. I know that that's a big conversation, but that was the community feedback that I was receiving. So
Thank you for sharing that. Sherry.
Yes, thank you, gentlemen. And yeah, appreciate what you guys have done. And I think that's it.
Jim.
I don't have anything to add.
Nothing to
I
add.
will still be around, just not on this particular committee, 2 others. So yeah, thanks for the memories. See you around. I'll be there.
Thank you so much for your time served, Woodrow, Robbie, and Jim. You will be missed. I don't know, were all 3 of you involved in the, Woodrow probably not, but were you guys involved in helping the Parks Master Plan come to fruition? Thank you so much for that. That brought us this new urban forest master plan, so that's really awesome. I wasn't part of that, and I'm glad you guys were here to make that happen, because that's an awesome piece of information and is helping things move along in the future and things happen. So I'm really grateful for your part in that. Hopefully we will still see you around, Robbie. If you have any great ideas, pop in and share them with us. Regarding the celebration on Saturday, Erica had sent out an email and asked if we want to have a table. I really felt like at our last meeting, we thought unless we have a specific question that we need the community to answer, like a survey. And I did want to say this, we talked about where we tabled last summer, which I did a couple of tabling events. We did have 2 surveys happening at that, because we had the Beaver Creek Canyon survey, and we also had the urban forest survey, which we were pushing. So I felt like part of me thinks it would be nice to be there to meet people, but this isn't ready to hand out. Like if this was ready to go, I would say, hey, I want to tell people about this street tree guide for them, but I don't think there's a reason for us to be there other than to just be celebrating the park along with everybody else. So she said, good, it's less tables, less work for us, that works. And I'm like, it's less work for me too, I can just enjoy it. So I will be down there with my dog, marching and making noise. I guess that sounds fun. And you'll definitely see me down there. One thing I was talking about a little bit before the meeting recorded, there's a couple of people that have been doing like extra volunteer work, like Deb that works in the butterfly garden at Sunrise Park. And then I just found out there's a resident that works and he does the path work out of one of the neighborhoods into the park. And I think it'd be really great as a committee if we could just sign like a thank you card at some point in time for those people that are doing the extra work. Free of charge, just volunteering their time. Maybe one for Frank too, since he's not here. He does so much work in the community. I walked the Nesbitt Park and then went under I-84 and was walking towards Chalk Chalk, and I could see his presence was missed. And I need to take a garbage bag and a picker out there because there's a lot of trash on the ground, and I think he is responsible for keeping it really well maintained. And so we're really grateful for Frank. But just some extra thank yous. Like, would you guys be willing to sign a thank you card if I brought one in for these individuals that are doing all this extra work? That'd be great too. Really excited about the Sandy River shuttle. One thing I didn't realize is that it's only on the weekends, but tell people about that. If they don't already know and they want to float the river, that's an option through the Sasquatch shuttle down at the Outlet Mall. So super fun for the summertime. And I think that's all I have to say. We'll move on to hold or cancel next month's meeting. It's August. Jonah's not here. What are we thinking?
It's July, isn't it?
July. It's only July. Wow, I jumped ahead. This is me. I just jump.
July is when we get our new committee.
Oh, that's true.
So we probably should, if we're gonna take a summer month off.
It's August that we would take the one off, if we took one off. Okay, so hold next month's meeting. We'll see you next month for everybody that's supposed to be here. And we will welcome, hopefully, our new, you guys will get your letters in the mail soon. They'll hopefully be here next month. So anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
Before we make a motion to adjourn, I'd like to formally thank Erica for being here for Jonah.
Yes.
I know it was a real struggle for people to know what was going on, but we really do appreciate you being here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that Erica, she's pretty cool.
I keep track of all the committees.
This is Shelley. I move that we adjourn.
Second?
Victoria, I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're adjourned. Thank you, guys.
That might be a
Bye,
record,
guys.
folks.
Bye, Woodrow.
We did good.